The alarm woke Captain Jiho Kang at 3 in the morning. He sat up fast in his bed, heart racing. The red lights in his quarters flashed on and off. Something big was happening. "Captain, we have a situation." The voice came through his wall speaker. "Unknown vessel just appeared in Earth orbit. It's massive." Jiho pulled on his uniform and ran to the command center of Horizon's Gate, the defense station that protected Earth. When he arrived, everyone was staring at the main screen. What he saw made him stop breathing for a moment. The ship was 10 times bigger than anything humans had ever built. It looked like a silver mountain floating in space. Lights pulsed along its surface in patterns that hurt to look at. "Have they said anything?" Jiho asked. "Message coming through now, sir," said the communications officer. The screen changed. A creature appeared that looked nothing like a human. It had 4 eyes arranged in a square pattern on its face. Its skin was pale blue and seemed to shimmer. When it spoke, a computer translated its words into Korean. "Greetings, young species of Earth. I am High Chancellor Relvix of the Vortheme Confederation. We come in peace to welcome you to the galactic community." Jiho felt a mix of excitement and worry. First contact. This was the moment humanity had dreamed about for centuries. "This is Captain Jiho Kang of Earth Defense. We welcome you in peace as well." Relvix made a sound that might have been a laugh. "How charming. We detected your primitive quantum signals and decided to investigate. We were surprised to find you still using such ancient technology." Jiho frowned. Something about the way Relvix spoke bothered him. It sounded friendly, but also like an adult talking to a small child. "We'd like to arrange a proper meeting," Jiho said carefully. Of course. We have much to teach you. Your species shows promise, despite your technological limitations." The message ended. Jiho immediately called Admiral Minji Park and Ambassador Hyun Lee. Within 2 hours, Earth's leaders gathered in an emergency meeting. Admiral Park was a tough woman with sharp eyes. She had spent 30 years protecting Earth's colonies. She didn't trust easily. "What do we know about them?" she asked. "Not much," said Jiho. "They call themselves the Vortheme. Their ship is far beyond our technology, and they seem to think we're backwards." Hyun Lee, the ambassador, was a calm man who always thought before speaking. "We should meet with them, learn what we can, but carefully." "Agreed," said Admiral Park, "but I don't like how they talk to us, like we're children." 3 days later, Hyun Lee went aboard the Vortheme ship with a small team. Dr. Hana Yoon went with him. She was a scientist who studied ancient cultures. Hyun wanted someone smart who could spot anything unusual. The inside of the alien ship was stunning. Everything glowed with soft light. The walls seemed alive somehow. Relvix met them in a large room that changed colors as they walked. "Welcome, humans," Relvix said. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence. "We are pleased to guide you toward civilization." "We appreciate your interest," Hyun said politely, "but Earth has a rich civilization already." "Oh, I meant no offense," Relvix said, but his tone suggested otherwise. "Your culture is lovely for such a young species, but your technology is so outdated." He gestured to a wall where images appeared. "You still use quantum communication arrays, yes? We used those 3,000 years ago. Now we use graviton wave technology, instant communication across any distance." Hana leaned forward to study the images. The technology looked incredibly advanced, but something about it made her think of something else, something she had seen before. "How does it work?" she asked. Relvix seemed pleased to explain. "We manipulate gravitational waves at the quantum level. The mathematics are quite complex, far beyond what your species has achieved." He showed them formulas and diagrams. Hana took pictures with her device. Her mind was racing. The math looked familiar somehow. "Where did you develop this technology?" Hana asked. "Our scientists created it long ago," Relvix said. We are an ancient species. We have explored the galaxy for millennia while your kind was still learning to make fire. The meeting continued for hours. Relvix offered to share some basic technology with Earth. He talked about bringing humanity into the Confederation as a junior member. Every word he said sounded generous, but felt insulting. When Hyun and Hana returned to Earth, they reported to Admiral Park and the other leaders. "They're condescending," Hyun said. "They act like they're doing us a huge favor just by talking to us." "But their technology is real," added another scientist. "If we could learn from them, at what cost?" Admiral Park interrupted. "They want us to be grateful, to accept our place as the primitive humans." Hana had been quiet during the meeting. Now she spoke up. "Admiral, I need to access the classified archaeological files, the deep-sea discoveries from 40 years ago." Everyone turned to look at her. "Why?" Admiral Park asked. "Their graviton wave technology, the mathematics, the design principles. I've seen something like it before, in the artifacts we found in the Pacific Ocean, the ones we couldn't understand." The room went silent. "Are you saying—" Hyun began. "I need to check first," Hana said. "But if I'm right, the Vorthim might not have invented their technology at all. Someone else did, a long time ago, and I think that someone was on Earth." Admiral Park stood up. "You have full access to any files you need. Find out the truth, Dr. Yoon." That night, Hana sat in her lab in Seoul, surrounded by screens showing data from the ancient Pacific site. The discovery had been made in 2803, in volcanic rock that was over 2 million years old. The structures inside should not have existed. They were too advanced, too perfect. She pulled up the images from Relvix's ship. Her hands shook as she compared them to the diagrams from Earth's ancient ruins. They were identical. The technology the Vorthim called their greatest achievement, the technology they used to prove they were superior to humanity, had been invented on Earth millions of years before the Vorthim even existed. Hana smiled in the darkness of her lab. The aliens called humans primitive. They had no idea what they were about to learn. Hana worked through the night without sleeping. Coffee cups piled up on her desk as she compared every detail. The more she looked, the more certain she became. This was not a coincidence. At dawn, she made a call. The screen showed an old man with white hair and kind eyes. Professor Taeyang-Oh had been her teacher 20 years ago. He was the one who led the Pacific excavation. "Hana?" "It's 5 in the morning," Taeyang said, rubbing his eyes. "Professor, I need to talk about the Pacific site, the classified one." Taeyang's expression changed immediately. He sat up straighter. "What about it?" "The aliens that just arrived. Their technology matches what we found down there. Exactly matches it." The old professor was quiet for a long moment. "Are you certain?" "Completely. Can you meet me today?" "I'll be on the next flight to Seoul." 6 hours later, they sat together in Hana's secure lab. Taeyang looked at the comparisons on her screens. His hands trembled slightly as he touched the images. "I always knew those structures were special," he said quietly. "But I never imagined this." "Tell me everything again," Hana said. "Everything you found." Taeyang closed his eyes, remembering. "It was 2803. We were doing a deep-sea survey off the Korean coast. The robots found something that shouldn't exist. Metal structures buried in volcanic rock that was 2.4 million years old." He pulled up old files on his tablet. "We sent down teams in submarines. What we found didn't make sense. The structures were perfect. No corrosion, no damage. They looked like they were built yesterday, not millions of years ago." Hana looked at the photographs from the excavation. The structures were beautiful and strange. Curved walls made of metal that seemed to glow with inner light. Devices with no visible controls or power sources. "We found chambers full of equipment," Taeyang continued. We couldn't turn most of it on. We didn't understand the principles behind it. The government classified everything immediately. Because it proved someone built advanced technology before humans existed, Hana said. Yes, it was impossible, so we buried it, kept it secret. Only a few dozen people knew the truth. Hana showed him the Vor theme schematics. Look at this graviton wave transmitter they're so proud of. Now look at device 7 from the Pacific site. Taeyang stared at the images side by side. They were identical in every way, the same curved design, the same mathematical principles, even the same energy signatures. They didn't invent it, Taeyang whispered. They found it just like we did. But where? And who really made it? They called in Do-hyun Choi, the marine archaeologist who had been part of the original dive team. He arrived with sealed containers full of samples and data chips. I've been waiting 40 years for someone to take this seriously again, Do-hyun said. He was a stocky man with a gray beard and eyes that never stopped moving. Those structures haunt me. I dream about them. He opened one container. Inside was a small piece of the metal from the Pacific site. It was dark gray with a slight blue shimmer. We tested this 1,000 ways, Do-hyun said. It's not from Earth. I mean, it was found on Earth, but the isotope ratios are wrong. The metal was refined using processes we still don't have. What did you think when you first saw the site? Hana asked. Do-hyun smiled sadly. I thought we had found proof of ancient aliens, visitors from space who came to Earth long ago, but then we found something that changed everything. He pulled up an image. It showed writing carved into a metal wall. The symbols were strange, but some of them looked almost familiar. We sent this to every linguist we could trust, Do-hyun said. It took 3 years, but one professor found a connection. These symbols share roots with ancient human writing systems. Very, very ancient ones. Hana felt her heart beat faster. You're saying humans wrote this? Not modern humans, but maybe an earlier version, or something we evolved from. We don't know. Taeyang added. The carbon dating was checked and rechecked. Those structures are 2.4 million years old. Modern humans only appeared about 300,000 years ago. So whoever built this was before us, way before us. But what if they were still human? Hana asked. What if an ancient human civilization developed advanced technology, then vanished? What if we're the descendants of people who survived after they were gone? The three of them sat in silence, thinking about what that meant. Captain Jiho Kang arrived an hour later. Admiral Park had sent him to help with security. He listened to their findings with growing amazement. So you're telling me that the Vor theme are using technology that was invented on Earth millions of years ago? Jiho asked. Yes, Hana said, and they don't know it. They think they invented it themselves. How is that possible? Maybe they found similar structures on their world, Taeyang suggested. Maybe whoever built the Pacific site also left technology on other planets. Why would they do that? Jiho asked. Maybe they wanted to help other species, Hana said. Maybe they were leaving gifts for civilizations that would come after them. Do-hyun pulled up a map. We only explored one site, but the deep-sea scans showed at least 6 more locations around the Pacific. We never had funding to check them all. What if there are hundreds, thousands? And what if there are similar sites on other planets? Hana added. The Vor theme found some. Maybe other alien species did too. Maybe all of their advanced technology came from the same source. Jiho understood what this meant. If we can prove this, it changes everything. The Vor theme think they're superior to us, but their whole civilization is built on technology from Earth. We need more proof, Hana said. We need to go back to the Pacific site, reactivate the equipment if we can, find out more about who built it. I'll talk to Admiral Park, Jiho said. This is bigger than just first contact now. This is about who we are, where we came from. That evening, Hana stood alone in her lab, looking at the images from the deep-sea site. Somewhere in those ancient structures was the truth about humanity's past. The Vorthim had come to Earth thinking they would teach primitive humans. Instead, they were about to learn that everything they knew was built on human achievement. She thought about the people who built those structures millions of years ago. They were gone now, vanished into time, but their work remained. Their gifts to the future remained. Hana smiled. The Vorthim called modern humans primitive. They had no idea that humans had already mastered the stars once before. And now, humanity was about to remember. She made a call to Admiral Park. "Ma'am, I have something you need to see. The Vorthim didn't invent their technology. They found it, and the people who actually made it were from Earth. We have proof." There was a pause on the other end. Then Admiral Park said, "Show me everything. Tomorrow we're going to have a very interesting conversation with our alien visitors." The diplomatic meeting was held aboard the Vorthim ship 3 days later. This time, Earth brought more than just polite smiles. They brought proof. Ambassador Hyun Lee led the human delegation. With him came Admiral Park, Dr. Hana Yoon, and Captain Ji-ho Kang. They carried sealed cases full of evidence. High Chancellor Relvix greeted them in the same glowing room as before. But this time, he brought his chief scientist, an older Vorthim named Kelmath. Kelmath had 3 eyes instead of 4, and walked with a slight limp. "Welcome back, friends," Relvix said. His 4 eyes blinked in that unsettling pattern. "Have you considered our generous offer to join the Confederation?" "We have some questions first," Hyun said calmly. "About your technology." Of course. We're happy to explain things simply so you can understand." Hana stepped forward. She placed a tablet on the table between them. "Can you tell us about the origin of your graviton wave communication system?" Relvix made a proud gesture. "Our scientists developed it over 3,000 years ago. It was a breakthrough that let us expand across the galaxy." "Why do you ask?" "Where did your scientists get the idea?" Hana pressed. Kelmath shifted uncomfortably. Relvix noticed but continued smoothly. "From research, of course. From the brilliant minds of our people." Hana activated the tablet. Images appeared in the air above it. They showed the Pacific structures from Earth. "These are from our planet. They're 2.4 million years old." Relvix looked at them without much interest. "Interesting geological formations." "They're not natural," Hana said. She pulled up more images. "They're constructed, made with advanced technology." "Impossible," Relvix said. "Your species is far too young." "Yes, modern humans are young," Admiral Park said. "But something lived on Earth before us, something that built technology." Hana showed the next image. It was a comparison. On one side, the Vorthim graviton wave transmitter. On the other side, a device from the Pacific ruins. They were identical. The room went very quiet. Kelmath leaned forward, his 3 eyes wide. "Where did you get this image?" "From our ocean floor. Buried for millions of years. We found it 40 years ago but couldn't understand it. Until you showed us your version." "This is a trick," Relvix said, but his voice was less confident now. "You must have copied our designs somehow." "How could we copy something that's been under our ocean for 2 million years?" Hyun asked. "Before your species existed, before your planet even had intelligent life." Hana brought out more comparisons. Device after device. System after system. Every piece of Vorthim technology matched something from the Pacific site. "Your civilization is built on technology you found," Hana said quietly. "Just like we found it. But we found it on our own world, where it was made." Kelmath was studying the evidence carefully. His 3 eyes moved rapidly over the images. Hana could see him doing calculations in his head. "The mathematical principles," Kelmath said slowly. "They're identical, not similar, exactly the same. Down to the quantum level. Kelmath, that's enough, Relvik snapped. No, it's not enough, Kelmath said. There was anger in his voice now. How long have you known? Known what? Relvik asked. That we didn't invent this technology. That we found it in the ruins on our homeworld. The room exploded with voices. The human delegation stared at Kelmath. Relvik made angry sounds that the translator couldn't process properly. You knew? Hana asked Kelmath. You knew you didn't invent it? Kelmath looked tired suddenly. 300 years ago, we were a simple species. We had basic tools, simple machines. Then we found structures buried on our world, ancient structures that we excavated. Inside was technology we couldn't understand. It took us 200 years to figure out how to use it. And you pretended you invented it? Admiral Park asked. We didn't pretend exactly, Kelmath said. We just didn't talk about where it came from. It became our secret, our shame. We built our entire civilization on someone else's work. The Confederation, Hyun said. The other species. Did they find technology too? Kelmath nodded slowly. Most of them. We don't talk about it openly, but yes, 7 species in the Confederation all found ancient ruins, all found working technology, all used it to advance rapidly. And you all pretend you invented it yourselves, Jiho said. It's easier that way, Kelmath admitted. We wanted to believe we were special, that we earned our place in the stars. Relvik stood up, furious. This conversation is over. Kelmath, you will be disciplined for sharing classified information. Sir, they have a right to know, Kelmath said, especially if their world is where the technology originated. Ridiculous. Earth is a primitive backwater. Is it? Hana asked. Or is it the source? What if an ancient Earth civilization created this technology millions of years ago? What if they spread it to other worlds? Your world? The other Confederation worlds? What if you're all using human technology? Relvik's 4 eyes narrowed. Humans did not exist 2 million years ago. Modern humans didn't, Taeyang said. He had been quiet until now. But maybe another version did. Maybe our ancestors were far more advanced than we thought. Maybe something happened that made them fall. And we're the descendants of survivors who forgot everything. This is insulting speculation, Relvik said. Then prove us wrong, Admiral Park challenged. Let us send a joint expedition to the Pacific site. Let your scientists see for themselves. Absolutely not. We will not waste resources on human fantasies. Why not? Hyun asked. If we're wrong, you can prove it easily. But if we're right, you need to know the truth. Relvik was silent for a long moment. Then he spoke in a cold voice. The Confederation has made a decision about Earth. You will accept our guidance and join as a junior member. Or you will be isolated. Cut off from galactic civilization. No trade, no contact, no technology sharing. You're threatening us because we found the truth? Jiho asked. I'm offering you a choice, Relvik said. Accept your place or be alone. The meeting ended badly. The human delegation returned to Earth angry and frustrated. But Hana noticed something. Kelmath had watched them leave with an expression she recognized. It was the look of someone who wanted to know the truth, no matter what it cost. That night, Hana received a message on an encrypted channel. The source was hidden, but the voice was familiar. Dr. Yoon, this is Kelmath. I believe you. And I need to show you something. Something the Confederation has been hiding for a long time. Can you meet me in secret? Hana looked at the message for a long time. Meeting secretly with an alien scientist could start a war, but it could also reveal the truth. She recorded her reply. Tell me when and where. 2 days later, Kelmath sent the location. Hana reported it to Admiral Park. It's a trap, Admiral Park said. Maybe, Hana agreed. But maybe it's our only chance to learn what really happened. What if Kelmath has proof about the ancient civilization? What if he knows who they were? Admiral Park thought about it. Take Jiho and a security team. If anything goes wrong, we'll pull you out. Hana smiled. If I'm right, Admiral, everything changes, not just for Earth, for the entire galaxy. The meeting place was a small station orbiting the moon. Kelmath arrived alone in a shuttle. Hana brought Captain Jiho and 2 security officers. They met in a sealed room with no listening devices. Kelmath looked nervous. His 3 eyes kept darting to the door. "I'm risking everything by being here," he said. "If Relvix finds out, I'll be arrested." "Why help us?" Hana asked. "Because I'm tired of lies," Kelmath said simply. "My whole life, I believed my people were great inventors. Then I became a scientist and learned the truth. We found everything. We invented nothing. It's been eating at me for years." He placed a data chip on the table. "This contains classified files from the Confederation archives. I'm giving them to you." Jiho picked up the chip carefully. "What's on it?" "Proof," Kelmath said. 7 member species of the Confederation all found ancient ruins. All around the same time period, 2 to 3 million years ago, all containing the same technology. Hana felt her heart racing. The same as Earth's ruins? Identical. The mathematics, the design, even the materials. Someone built installations on multiple worlds, all teaching the same technology. "Teaching?" Hana asked. "You mean they left it on purpose?" "Yes. The ruins aren't random. They're organized like schools or libraries. They were meant to be found by developing species." Jiho leaned forward. "Who would do that?" "That's what I want to help you discover," Kelmath said. "But I need to see your Pacific site. The Confederation ruins don't have much writing, but you said yours does. Maybe your site has answers." 3 days later, a small team descended into the Pacific Ocean. Hana and Kelmath rowed in a submarine together. Jiho piloted. Do-Yun Choi guided them to the exact location. The water was dark and cold. Their lights cut through the blackness. Then suddenly, there it was. The structure rose from the ocean floor like a sleeping giant. "By the ancestors," Kelmath whispered. His 3 eyes were wide. The structure was bigger than Hana remembered. Curved walls made of metal that didn't corrode. Symbols carved deep into the surface. As they got closer, lights began to glow inside the structure. It was waking up. "It's responding to us," Do-Yun said excitedly. "It never did that before." They docked at an entrance and put on pressure suits. The structure's atmosphere was sealed and breathable somehow, even after millions of years. They walked through corridors that felt alive with energy. Kelmath stopped at the first wall of symbols. He touched them gently. "These are the same symbols we found on my homeworld." "Can you read them?" Hana asked. "Some. They're very old. But," he traced one symbol, "this means knowledge. This one means gift. And this one," he paused, "this one means children." They walked deeper. Each room they entered showed different technology. Communication devices, power generators, medical equipment, all perfectly preserved. "It's a complete technological package," Hana said. "Everything a species would need to advance rapidly." "But why?" Jiho asked. "Why give this away?" They found the answer in the deepest chamber. The room was circular with a high ceiling. In the center stood a column made of crystal. When Hana touched it, the column lit up. A hologram appeared above it. The figure in the hologram looked human. Not exactly like modern humans, but close. Taller with different proportions. But definitely human. The figure spoke. The language was strange, but somehow the structure translated it. "If you are seeing this, you have reached the level of development we hoped for. We are the progenitors. We are the first travelers. We came from the world you call Earth. Kelmath made a sound of shock. Hana grabbed Jaiho's arm to steady herself. The hologram continued. We achieved interstellar travel 2.6 million years ago, by your counting. We spread across the galaxy. We found many worlds that could support life, worlds where evolution was just beginning to create intelligent species. The hologram changed, showing a map of the galaxy. Hundreds of worlds were marked with glowing points. We faced a choice. We could keep our knowledge to ourselves, or we could leave it as a gift for those who would come after us. We chose to give. They seeded the technology on purpose, Hana whispered. On hundreds of worlds. We built these installations as teaching tools, the hologram said. When your species reaches the right level of development, you will find them. You will learn from them. You will advance. This is our legacy, our gift to the children of the future. You see, Kelmath said quietly, we are all your children, all the Confederation species. We learned from what you left behind. The hologram spoke again. We are leaving now, not because we must, but because we choose to. We have evolved beyond the need for physical form. We are becoming something new, something we cannot explain to you yet. But know this, we were you once, and you will be like us someday. The galaxy is yours now. Build it better than we did. Learn from our mistakes. The hologram showed cities on Earth from millions of years ago. Beautiful and advanced. Then it showed them falling, disasters, wars, the civilization collapsing. We nearly destroyed ourselves, the hologram said sadly. We fought over resources, over beliefs, over power. We almost made Earth lifeless. We survived, but we learned that advancement without wisdom is worthless. That's why you left the technology as gifts, Hana said, even though the hologram couldn't hear her. You wanted other species to avoid your mistakes. So we leave you this knowledge, the hologram concluded. Use it wisely, help each other, share it freely as we shared with you. And remember, you are not alone. You are family across the stars, connected by our gift. The first travelers will watch over you from beyond. Grow well, children. Make us proud. The hologram faded. The room was silent except for the soft hum of ancient machinery. Kelmath was crying. His 3 eyes leaked fluid down his face. We've been fighting each other for resources, competing for dominance, just like they did, just like they warned us not to do. The Confederation, Jiho said. You kept this knowledge secret. You made it about power instead of sharing. Yes, Kelmath admitted. We failed them. We failed the progenitors. Instead of sharing their gift, we hoarded it. We pretended we invented it to feel superior to other species. Hana placed her hand on the crystal column. But now we know the truth. And we have a choice. We can be like the Confederation, keeping secrets and feeling superior. Or we can be like the progenitors. We can share. They recorded everything. Every symbol, every device, every word of the hologram. Then they returned to the surface. When they reached Seoul, Hana immediately called a meeting with Admiral Park and Ambassador Hyun. The progenitors were human, Hana told them. Ancient humans who evolved, who traveled the stars, who seeded technology across the galaxy. And then they transcended. They became something beyond physical form. Where are they now? Admiral Park asked. The hologram said they're watching. From beyond. Whatever that means. Hyun looked thoughtful. So every advanced species in the galaxy is using technology that humans invented. Technology that was given as a gift. Yes, Hana said. And we need to make a choice. Do we tell everyone? Or do we keep it secret like the Confederation did? We tell them, Admiral Park said immediately. The progenitors wanted their knowledge shared. That's the whole point. We honor their memory by doing what they asked. The Confederation won't like it, Jiho warned. It destroys their whole identity. Then they'll have to build a new identity, Hyun said, based on truth this time. 6 months changed everything. Earth released the hologram recordings to the entire galaxy. Every species saw the truth. The progenitors were human. The technology everyone used was a human gift from millions of years ago. The Confederation collapsed within weeks. Some species were angry, some were ashamed, but most were simply relieved to finally know the truth. Relvix was removed from power. The Vortheme people wanted leaders who wouldn't lie to them. Kelmath became their new representative. He was the first to apologize to Earth publicly. "We were wrong," Kelmath said in a broadcast heard across 100 worlds. "We pretended we were superior. We hoarded knowledge that was meant to be shared. We failed to honor the gift we were given. Earth, we ask for your forgiveness and your guidance." Ambassador Hyun Lee stood in the newly formed Galactic Council chamber. It was located on a neutral space station built with technology from the progenitor archives. Representatives from 12 species sat in a circle. No one was higher than anyone else. "We come together not as masters and servants," Hyun said, "but as equals, as family. That's what the progenitors wanted. That's what we'll build." Back on Earth, Dr. Hana Yoon worked 18-hour days at the new Progenitor Research Institute. Hundreds of scientists from different species came to study together. They shared knowledge freely. They activated more devices from the Pacific site. "Look at this," Hana said to Nari Song, a young human engineer who specialized in artificial intelligence. The progenitors left instructions for faster-than-light travel. The math is incredibly complex, but it works. Nari's eyes shone with excitement. "We could build this?" "We're going to, with help from the other species. Together." In orbit around Earth, Admiral Minji Park watched the construction of humanity's first FTL ship. The Pathfinder was small compared to alien vessels, but it was fast, and it was built using knowledge that humans had invented long ago. "How long until it's ready?" she asked the construction chief. 2 weeks, Admiral. Then we can start testing." Park smiled. In just 6 months, humanity had gone from being called primitive to building its own starship. Not because aliens gave them the technology, because humans had invented it millions of years ago and left it as a gift to themselves. Captain Jiho Kang was chosen to command the Pathfinder. His first mission would be to visit other progenitor sites that had been detected on distant worlds. Each site held more knowledge, more history, more pieces of humanity's ancient legacy. The night before launch, Jiho sat with Hana in a quiet restaurant in Seoul. They looked out at the city lights. "Do you ever wonder what they were like?" Jiho asked. "The progenitors, our ancestors." "Every day," Hana said. "They were us." "Just further along, they made mistakes. They almost destroyed themselves, but they learned. They grew. They transcended." "Do you think they're really watching us?" "I hope so. I hope they see what we're doing. Sharing instead of hoarding. Building together instead of competing." Jiho raised his glass. "To the progenitors, may we make them proud." They touched glasses and drank. The next morning, the Pathfinder prepared for launch. Jiho stood on the bridge with his crew. Nari Song was the chief engineer. A young pilot named Junho Park sat at the controls. He was only 23, but he flew like he was born in space. "All systems green," Nari reported. "Course plotted to the Andromeda site," Junho said. Jiho sat in the captain's chair. He thought about the long journey of humanity. From ancient progenitors who mastered the stars, to modern humans who had to rediscover everything. And now, finally, humanity was returning to space, not as primitives learning from aliens, but as the children of the first travelers, reclaiming their heritage. "Take us out," Jiho ordered. The Pathfinder's engines activated. The ship lifted from Earth's orbit smoothly. Around them, dozens of alien ships had gathered to watch, not to judge or control, but to celebrate, to witness humanity's return to the stars. "Engaging FTL drive," Nari said. The space around them bent and twisted. The stars stretched into lines. Then the Pathfinder jumped. In an instant, they crossed a distance that would have taken years with old technology. When they returned to normal space, they were orbiting a distant planet. Sensors detected progenitor structures on the surface. "We're here," Junho said with wonder in his voice. Jiho stood and looked at the planet below. A new world, new knowledge to discover, just like the progenitors wanted. They sent a message back to Earth. It took only seconds using the graviton wave technology, the technology that humans had invented long ago. "Pathfinder to Earth. We have arrived, beginning exploration of the Andromeda site. We're following in the footsteps of our ancestors, and we're not alone. 3 alien vessels are joining us to share in the discovery." Admiral Park received the message with tears in her eyes. Beside her, Ambassador Hyun smiled. "They called us primitive," Hyun said quietly. "And in a way we were. We had forgotten who we were, where we came from, what we could achieve. But now we remember," Park added. Across the galaxy, the sharing continued. Humans taught other species about the progenitor archives they had found. Other species shared what they had learned from their own sites. Together, they built a new civilization, not based on lies and competition, but on truth and cooperation. Dr. Taeyang, now 90 years old, gave a speech at the Research Institute. Young scientists from a dozen species listened. "The greatest gift the progenitors gave us wasn't the technology," he said. "It was the lesson. They showed us that advancement means nothing without wisdom. Power means nothing without compassion. Knowledge means nothing unless we share it." He paused, looking at the young faces around him. "You are the new generation, human and alien together. You will build what we could not. You will go where we cannot. And someday, maybe you will transcend like the progenitors did. But remember them. Honor their gift and pass it forward." In the Pacific Ocean, the ancient structure still hummed with power. More installations had been found, more knowledge recovered. But the greatest treasure was already known. Humanity was the source, the beginning, the progenitors who seeded the galaxy with their gift. And now, humanity had returned to finish what their ancestors started, not alone, not superior, but as family to all the species who shared their legacy. Late one night, Hana stood in the depths of the Pacific structure. She was alone. She placed her hand on the crystal column and spoke quietly. "We found your message. We understood it. We're doing what you asked. We're sharing. We're building together. We're learning from your mistakes." She paused. "I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know what you became when you transcended. But if you're out there watching, thank you for everything, for the gift, for the lesson, for believing that we could be better." The crystal warmed under her hand, just for a moment, just enough to let her know that maybe, somehow, they heard. Above, in the night sky, the Pathfinder jumped again, moving deeper into the galaxy, discovering more progenitor sites, learning more secrets, building more bridges between species. Junho Park sat at the controls, young and eager. He thought about the progenitors who had once piloted ships just like this, his ancestors, his family across time. "Where to next, Captain?" he asked Jiho. Jiho looked at the star map. 1,000 worlds waited, 1,000 mysteries, 1,000 chances to honor the gift they had been given. "Forward," Jiho said with a smile. "Always forward, just like they did. We have stars to explore, knowledge to find, and a legacy to honor." The ship jumped again, disappearing into the endless dark. But it wasn't dark anymore. It was full of light, full of hope, full of family. The progenitors had called across millions of years, and their children had answered. Not just humans, but all the species who shared their gift. The galaxy belonged to them now. And they would build it together, better than before, wiser than before, united by the greatest gift ever given, the gift of knowledge, the gift of hope, the gift of family across the stars, and somewhere beyond space and time, the progenitors watched with pride as their children took their first steps together into a future bright with promise.